Manchester United have agreed a deal with Napoli for Scott McTominay. This is coming out in the last couple of minutes. Massive breaking news. But before we bring you that, please do me one small favour. Smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 1,000 likes on this episode. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel. We're just about to hit 40k. Make sure you get involved. It's completely free content and everyone is welcome. Right. So this is coming out from David Ornstein, who is, in my opinion, the most reliable journalist around Manchester United at the moment. And it's also coming out from Fabrizio Romano as well. So I'll bring you both the stories, I'll react to it, and we can have a little bit of conversation. So let's start with David Ornstein. He is reporting that Napoli, he's saying exclusive story, Napoli have now agreed a deal with Manchester United for Scott McTominay. He says the deal will be worth 30 million euros, which is about 25.5 million pounds, roughly, somewhere around there. He says there'll also be a sell-on clause. And he goes on to say that this is important for Manchester United's financial fair play compliance. And then he says that Manuel Ugarte potential signing would be funded by McTominay's exit. Really, really good. Really happy about that. And then Fabrizio Romano has said Napoli are now close to a deal for Scott McTominay. Deal not linked to Billy Gilmour as negotiations ongoing. He says that Napoli have submitted a new bid of 30 million euros, which has now been accepted by Manchester United. So it's a here we go. The deal is effectively done. Apparently, McTominay is waiting to fly to Naples to get the contract signed and all the rest of it. I think this is great business. I do, and I think it shows the intentions of Ineos. It shows the goals of Ineos. It shows that they have really high standards. I'm just really, really happy with this. I think McTominay, yes, he's come through the youth academy. Yes, he works hard. Yes, he loves the club and all the rest of it. But is that enough still to be a Manchester United player going forward? Do we want to reward players who, let's be honest, aren't good enough just because they've come through the youth academy? And my opinion is no. I think if we want to be the best team in the world again, we want to compete with the Man Cities, the Liverpools, the Arsenals, we've got to make these ruthless decisions. And I think at the moment, we are doing that. And if you look at the players that have left the club this summer, right? Obviously, McTominay isn't 100% done yet, but the deal has been agreed and he's going to go and do his medical. If you look at the players we've let go just this summer alone, obviously, McTominay for 30 million euros. I think that's decent. And then you've got Mason Greenwood, 26 million euros. Wan-Bissaka, 17 million. Willy Camboala, 10. Pellistri, 6. Alvaro Fernandez, 6. Donny van de Beek, 500,000. Obviously, that was a bit bad, but it was the only way to get rid of him. And then obviously, you got rid of Varane, Omari Forson, Anthony Martial, and Brandon Williams. So we got rid of 10 players there. And now we've also just got rid of Scott McTominay as well. So once this McTominay deal goes through, we'll have raised nearly 100 million euros worth of player sales, which I think is decent. And at the moment, we've only spent about 160. So our net spend after McTominay leaves will be about 60 million euros, which is what, 50 million pounds, 50 million pounds, I think it is, which I think is amazing. And I think, when you look at all the wages that we've cleared, people like Varane were on 350k a week. Martial was on 250k. Donny van de Beek was 150k. Like, we'll have saved around £1 million worth of wages by letting these 11 players go. Now, I'm expecting us to go and do some more deals in the final days of the window. As great as it is that McTominay is leaving, we need to now agree a deal with PSG immediately for Manuel Ugarte. And it does look like that will now happen. So obviously I've brought you the story on Scott McTominay. You can get your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think this is a good deal for Manchester United? I have zero problems with this deal. I think 30 million euros is good money. It's more than what we were getting offered by other clubs. It's a good move for Scott McTominay to go and play for Napoli. It's a massive club. Probably will win Serie A. And, it's a great move for McTominay. He can't complain. He's going from Manchester United, the biggest club in the world, to Napoli, which is also a massive club with a great fan base, amazing stadium, good manager. So, yeah, I'm happy for him. I think he deserves... he deserves another chance, and he deserves a chance at a new club. So that's really, really positive. I'm happy about that, and I wish him all the best. I've got nothing bad to say about McTominay. He works hard. He's never disrespected the badge. I just don't think he's Manchester United quality. In my opinion, you might disagree. That's obviously completely fine. I don't think he's Manchester United quality. Although you could argue that most of our players maybe aren't Manchester United quality, but that's a whole conversation for another day. But off the back of that, Fabrizio is saying that Manchester United are now set to complete a deal for Manuel Ugarte. He says it will be a permanent transfer. Fabrizio says if all goes to plan with McTominay to Napoli, Man United will proceed with a permanent move for Manuel Ugarte. And then he goes on to say that Ugarte only wants Man United. He's ready to travel, which we already knew. So effectively, McTominay goes and joins Napoli. That deal is effectively agreed. He just has to fly. He just has to do his medical. Personal terms have been agreed. Medical apparently will be tomorrow. He's ready to go. So yesterday's game against Brighton will be the last time we ever see Scott McTominay in a Manchester United shirt. Now, if Ineos are able to get rid of Sancho, Lindelof and Eriksen in the final week of the window, I think it will be one of the best windows we've ever had. And I know some people are like, get rid of Rashford. Like, I get it. I understand your frustration. Marcus Rashford isn't at the level we need him to be at. And if somebody came in with a massive bid for Marcus Rashford, I would definitely accept it, 100%. I would even probably take about 50, 60 million for Rashford at this point. But the fact of the matter is, nobody wants to buy Marcus Rashford. So it's easy for you to sit at home getting frustrated saying, Rashford, get him out of my club, or whoever it is that you don't like, Maguire. Those seem to be the common names that most people throw under the bus, right? Which is fine. They definitely deserve criticism. But in reality, you can only sell a player when there's a market there to buy them. And Marcus Rashford and Maguire, there's no market for them. Nobody wants them. So, you know, we can all have our wishes. We can all have our dreams. But that doesn't mean it's going to become a reality. And the reality of the matter is here, McTominay's gone. And he was one of the players very, very high up on my list who needed to leave this season, alongside people like Martial, Brandon Williams. There's still quite a few players sniffing around who I think should be gone, like Jadon Sancho, like Lindelof, like Eriksen, but we have got rid of a fair amount. Obviously, Donny van der Beek, glad he's gone. But overall, you know, that'll be 11 players that have gone. Hopefully that now allows us to kind of restructure the squad to bring in more players, because we desperately do need more signings. If you look at what we've done so far, right? This summer, we've signed 4 players. Obviously, Lenny Yoro's injured, which is pretty disappointing, but there's nothing we can do about that. Mazraoui, I think, has made an incredible impact so far. De Ligt, I'm expecting to start against Liverpool next weekend. Xerxes, I think he's been decent so far. Obviously, the goal situation yesterday was a bit disappointing, but you can't really blame him on that. So overall, our business has been good, but it's still nowhere near enough for us to bridge the gap between Manchester United and where we are now. I would even argue that it's nowhere near enough to bridge the gap between us and 3rd or 4th place, to be honest. When you see teams like Brighton, who most people who watch this video, or most people who support Man United, think that Manchester United have this divine right to beat teams like Brighton. Brighton have just spent 250 million euros in one window. We've spent 160. They've spent nearly double the amount of money as we have. And they've not only done that, but they've spent it very well. They've bought, you know, players for 20, 30 million. They've just gone and got Ferdy Kadioglu, who was a player we really wanted. And they already had a really good squad with people like Mitoma, Evan Ferguson, you know, as well as many, many others. So the competition in the Premier League now is so tough. And you only have to look at, for example, now, you know, Chelsea are drawing 2-2 with Wolves. Like, you look at the top 4, Tottenham, Arsenal, Brighton and Man City at the moment. Liverpool aren't even in the top 4. Newcastle aren't. Aston Villa aren't. Like, it's going to be so difficult. And I don't think the business we've done so far this window is going to be enough for us to be 100% top 4. Like, I just don't simply think that's the case. You know, when you look at the squads of the other teams, it's going to take a while. It's not going to happen overnight. We have to be patient. Ineos were never going to be able to do a Chelsea where they spend $500 million in one window. Now, I don't know why they can't. I don't know the rules, why Chelsea were allowed to do that and we're not, but there must be a reason. I think they've changed the rules on how you could spread out transfers, if I'm not mistaken. Like, Chelsea were spreading out their transfers over like a 10-year period, whereas Man United, I don't think, are able to do that now. They're doing it over like 5 years at the most. I think that's how they changed the rules, wasn't it? So that was how Chelsea spent $500 million in one window, because they actually technically only spent 50 million. Does that make sense? Chelsea spent 500 million in one window, but on their books, they only spent 50 because they spread that 500 million over a 10-year period. So it was quite clever. Whereas I don't think Man United or any team can do that anymore. And obviously there's all this PSR stuff. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy with this. I wish McTominay all the best. I've got no problem with McTominay. I don't think he's Man United quality, but I have nothing bad to say about him. You know, I wish you all the best, McTominay. Go and enjoy your life in Italy. Enjoy playing for Napoli. That's an incredible move for you. And yeah, so I'm going to wrap the video up here. I will be back later on today. Please make sure to drop a like, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on McTominay. Are you happy with 30 million euros? I'll speak to you all later. Bye for now.